This is not your average college decision video, with earlier decisions slowly descending upon us and my Harvard reaction video getting more views than normal lately. I decided to take this time to make this video. I know, you're mostly here to manifest your dream schools, but unfortunately you won't be getting that in this video. What I do think though is this video will save you years of your life if you watch it till the end. Hi, my name is Benson, and I'm currently a sophomore at Harvard studying psychology. I'm on a mission to educate and awaken the next generation of purposeful students. And to do that, I'm going to start by talking about college decisions, and specifically the ones that you're about to receive. Whether you're in your senior year of high school, or you're a junior getting ready to apply for next year, or you just started your high school career, this is a message that you need to hear. You know that college that you want to go to? Maybe that's Harvard, Yale, Brown, Princeton, Rice, NYU, whatever college that might be. It should not be your finish line or your end goal. Your goal in high school should not be, yeah, I want to go to this college. Because if that's your mindset, then you will fail. You cannot attach yourself to a name of a certain college. You see, growing up, you probably had an environment where people told you to study hard, work hard so you can get into a certain good college. What they don't know is that it's actually terrible advice. No one really asks you as a kid what it is that you truly want to do, but they just still tell you that you should study hard, work hard in school, and get good grades, and then go to a good college. But I want you to forget about all these expectations for just a moment, and to really ask yourself, what is it that you truly want out of your life? What is it that you want to do when there's no parents behind you to tell you that, yeah, you should pick this path or that path? What is it that you truly want to do in life? It's a tough question to answer, I know, but that's more of a reason to start having this conversation early with yourself. Compared to 50 years ago, I think there's much more of a drastic shift in the views of higher education. We see high schools just funneling in students into universities, and the new norm now is just for everyone to go, even if they don't know what it is that they want to do. Or maybe they have a different career path. But all the other different career paths, well, they're highly frowned upon. Because in society's eyes, if you don't go to college, then you'll be unsuccessful. To me, I see that there can be arguments made for both sides. I can understand that by going to university, it allows us to gain a diversity and more depth on a subject or a topic, and to explore our interests further. But some students are quite literally just getting forced to go to college, even when they don't want to. Maybe it is something that they want to pursue, but in society's eyes, they really just want to push them all into university. And so you can just see the problem here, where society would view that not going to college would mean that you will fail in life. And it's considered much safer and better for everyone to just go to university immediately after high school. But I think what matters more is your passion and your ability to cultivate it. When you think about what it takes to become successful, there's no written rule that says that, oh, by the way, if you want to be successful, you have to graduate from this certain college. No, there's none of that. Some people just never step foot in higher education, but they're much more fulfilled, happy, and even considered successful than let's say a Harvard graduate working at a finance company. I truly believe that passion, being able to be purposeful in the way that you spend your time, is much more important than whatever college you end up. If you're a senior this year, trust me, you will be okay if you don't get into your dream school or your top college. What matters more is the discovery and cultivation of your passion. Being able to be purposeful in how you spend your time is much more significant than a piece of paper from a written name of a university. You should know that admissions officers aren't stupid either. They can detect your passion behind your application and essays. And let me just tell you that it is very hard to fake this passion. So if you're competing against someone who really discovered their passion and is very purposeful in how they spend their time, and they can spend hours on end just working on this project and get super good at it, then when the application process comes, they'll just outshine you in any of that selection process because they wouldn't mind spending more time working on their passions. But for you, you might just be doing whatever fits the resume well. And so when you compare the two, obviously the one with more passion will get chosen in the process. This core idea goes hand in hand with what my channel is all about, playing the infinite game. The infinite game represents this idea that there is no clear finish line in sight. It allows us to detach from this fixated mindset and begs the question of How would you do something if there was no end? If there was no finish line? There is no clear winning or losing side, and it's an infinite game. It stretches out to an indefinite time span. When there isn't anybody to recognize the effort and time you spent on a task, would you still do what you're currently doing? If the admission officers didn't bat an eye on what you've done for the past 4 years, would you have still done them anyway? I've made the same mistakes as you. I did what everyone else did. I took the classes for the GPA. I didn't find joy in what I was learning, but at least I was getting good grades. I did the extracurriculars that looked good on the resume, and I never once stopped to consider what it is that I wanted to do with my life. And it took a whole pandemic for me to realize that I was playing a finite game, where I let a goal of attending a top college dictate my life. Everyone around me was taking the safe, properly lined out path. And when I realized just how short-sighted I was, I knew I had to change. Believe me, it's never too late to change the current circumstances of your life. And like I said before, the pandemic really shook the foundations of my belief, and I realized that I should really prioritize what it is that I was actually passionate about, and not to do some silly, dandy, good-looking club that, looked good on my resume for a resume boost. I just did things that made me happy, and I didn't mind spending the time on. I started businesses and I sold things because, I loved entrepreneurship. It felt like a game to me, and I genuinely enjoyed doing it, and I saw myself doing it for a very long time. Was it easy? Of course not. Did it consume all my time? It sure did, but none of that mattered because, I was passionate about it, and I didn't mind spending this time. I didn't mind spending all that time because I loved simply what I was doing, and I genuinely enjoyed every moment of it. And it's so shallow and simple-minded to keep following this simple path that everyone just seems to have laid out for you. Because you will wake up one day in your 30s, hating the choices you've made, playing a finite game. You will question what it is that you spent your majority of your life waking up for. Going back to my story, so after school resumed, I dropped all of my commitments that I didn't see myself playing the infinite game for. I only did the things that I was passionate about, entrepreneurship, maintaining my business, learning new skills, working out, etc. I still played sports because, I really enjoyed playing the game. And you just truly start feeling fulfilled when your schedule is 100% aligned to what makes you happy. If you're still unsure what it is that you're passionate about, that just means that you haven't spent enough time to actually expose yourself to more of those activities and to try out different things that maybe you'll find interest in. Try everything once, and if you like it, continue doing it. If not, be ruthless in cutting it out. I tried kickboxing over the summer, and for the first few weeks, I gave it everything that I had. But as I went on training, and for the next couple of weeks, it didn't seem as enjoyable as I thought it would be, and so I just ended up cutting it out. Another thing that I want to mention is to stop chasing this shiny object, or whatever your peers are doing. It's okay if you're passionate about the same thing as one of your friends, but just because your friend is getting into one thing, doesn't mean that you have to get into it as well. In my high school, and probably yours as well, there were these honor societies which you'll be invited to join. And if you had a certain GPA or if you took a certain classes, you could pay a fee and you'll be inducted into these honor societies. And within these honor societies, when it comes to your graduation time, they'll give you this cord that you can wear for your graduation. And so with this concept of the infinite game in mind, you know what I did? I didn't join any of them. No, not a single one. And mind you, I'm sitting here as the valedictorian for my school who was going to give a speech. And I just told myself okay, everybody else wears these cords, but they're not even committed or passionate about this society. My school was pretty high achieving, so you would see a lot of these students wearing them. But you know that deep down, they don't really care about these organizations. People are paying $50, $60 to join these honor societies and to get the string to wear for an hour. And I just didn't bother to pay that because, I didn't really care for these things. And it seemed to me like it was very finite and it was a shallow thing to even consider buying. And I remember my parents still getting angry at me when they asked me why I didn't have any of these cords when all of my peers were all dressed up with their shiny little cords. They're literally quite mad at me for not wearing these cords, even though none of my other classmates were going to where I was going. It didn't matter to me that I had to wear these cords. It was just this finite way of thinking, and so I just didn't really argue with them. And now I bet you if I ask them about it, they probably don't even care about it anymore. So it's It was always like the finite game, but in the moment, they were always still pressing for me wearing these chords. You see, they were playing this finite game. 10 years, 15 years down the line, do you think you would still care about those chords and strings? Probably not. They're just gonna be sitting up in your closet, taking up space, and you'll just throw them out eventually. And so the core message is really just to tell you guys to stop masturbating yourself with these finite, short-sighted goals, and to really start just thinking about playing this infinite game. You don't need the college name to justify your worth. What's more important is your passion and your unwavering commitment to playing this infinite game. It's not a one and done type of situation. You're playing this magical game called life, so you might as well think about it for the long run. And what I always say is the best way to go about playing this infinite game is to get onto self-improvement, because quite literally, it teaches you about delaying gratification and improving yourself over time. If you're a senior, good luck on your college decisions. Keep your head up no matter the outcome, and enjoy the wonderful infinite game. See you in the next video. Take action.